Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hormel Stadium in Medford, Massachusetts, right on the outskirts of Boston, Massachusetts, for tonight's Week 11, the final regular season game here in the Eastern Conference between the Philadelphia Spinners and the Boston Whitecaps. I'm Jeff Poster alongside Dusty Rhodes for MLU Live here in Week 11. As I said, the final regular season game between these two. The playoff matchup is set, but the location is not. It's a battle for home field here at Hormel Stadium for this Week 11 matchup. It's a bit cloudy tonight, 71 degrees game time temperature, a little bit of wind, 12 miles per hour, humidity, a little humid, 64, and we do have some rain in the forecast. Hopefully we'll miss that before this game ends. It's 60% chance of precipitation. We'll step away, but when we come back, we'll take a look at this matchup here in the final week.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the beautiful Hormel Stadium.
Welcome back to Hormel Stadium, Week 11. The Spinners and the Whitecaps with the battle for home field on the line in the playoffs. And Dusty, we have some exciting players to watch, the two top teams here in the East. Let's take a look first for Philadelphia and their Rookie of the Year candidate, Billy Sickles.
And we'll start taking a look at Billy Sickles here. He's one of the two young players that we'll be looking at here in a moment. We'll be looking at Tyler Chan as well. The thing for Billy Sickles is that his availability as a cutter is very useful for him. He fits in well with Rainwater downfield as well as Glazer downfield. And while he's got 15 goals, the fact that he's tied for fourth in the league with 26 assists is one of the things that makes this Philadelphia attack a little bit more versatile. So when he gets the disc, it's not just that he's cutting away or that he's just gaining yards. He will catch the disc and then find someone to distribute it to next and keep the play moving that way. And as you can see, he's Philadelphia's leading scorer, and this Rookie of the Year race is kind of coming down to the end here, and he's put in a magnificent performance, starting with that very first weekend where Philadelphia took down Boston.
What a transition, talking about taking down Boston and Rookie of the Year, is Tyler Chan on the other side. Rookie of the Year candidate has also been very explosive and effective for the Whitecaps.
And the difference between these two is that Sickles is a little bit taller and uses his length to leverage his advantage over the defense, whereas Chan is, while he's a little bit smaller, he has much more speed. I haven't seen anyone who continually keeps up with him over the course of play, and his ability to just go and go and go makes a lot of space for this Whitecaps offense, who has a number of throwers on their team. They just need opportunities to throw it to. Both these players work within their offense as well. With Chan, one of the players that he works the best with is Kitraj Snell, his teammate at Tufts as well. And without Kitraj Snell here this weekend, who's a very tall receiver and draws a lot of attention, it will be interesting to see how Chan finds space to work and how that plays out.
As I like to say, it's not just a single-player game. This is a team game, and we'll have to look at the keys to the game for each of these teams, starting off with the Spinners. Home field on the line. What do they have to do to acquire that?
Well, over the course of the season, their offense has been what has guided them to wins. In most of their wins, they have a very high completion percentage. They have a group of players who complete 100% of their throws. And so long as they can maintain that on some level, their defense has begun to show the ability to go on runs. They did a great job last week after going down 3 points to start against the Current, of having their defense go on a 4-point break run in the second quarter to get back in the game there. However, this weekend they'll be missing a couple defensive players, so we'll get a better chance to see what sort of depth they have after their starting lineups on defense. And this is their opportunity to sweep the Whitecaps in the season series. Winning 3 games over the course of a season is something that no one has done against Boston yet so far, and that'd be sort of a notch in their cap, more confidence going into the playoffs.
Notch in their cap, but we have the Whitecaps here tonight. What do they have to do? They've been here, done that, but how do they keep doing that?
The key for them is that while they're 6-3 so far in the season, which is a winning record, you can see here that this is in New York. They've won 4 games against New York, which leaves only 2 wins combined against DC and Philadelphia. So in that situation, they have to come out here against a team in Philadelphia who's having a good end of the season. Both the teams are playing well, and it should be a good battle here.
All right, we'll step away one more time. When we come back, we'll get a look field side here at Hormel Stadium. Welcome back to Hormel Stadium, and as we get set to go, let's talk to one of our players here from the Boston Whitecaps. Defensive captain Alex Simmons is down joining us from the field.
How's it going?
Doing pretty well up here. How's everything going down on the field level so far?
We're ready to go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, this is a big game for both teams so far, and playing for home field advantage in the playoffs. What sort of value are you guys placing on that at this point?
I mean, home field advantage is obviously very huge. I don't know the specifics, but if you have a home game, you have a much better chance of winning here. So we're ready to go. We got some great fans. We're hoping to get another one this year here.
And one of the ways that we sort of expect y'all to be challenging the Spinners is trying to disrupt their incredibly efficient offense over the course of the season.
Yep,
what should we
absolutely.
expect to see from you guys?
It's going to be a lot of physicality. We are going to be making sure that they don't have any easy passes. We're going to be contesting every single cutter, every single throw. Basically, nothing is easy. That way, we're going to force as many passes that are contested as possible, and that's how we're going to do it.
I like the sound of that. It looks like it should be a good matchup.
Absolutely.
Specifically, one of the players that we've talked about from the Spinners is Billy Sickles, one of the Rookie of the Year candidates. Do you guys have anything specifically in store for him? Any specific matchups?
We definitely do. We've got a couple of matchups that we're very excited about to throw on him and see what we can do.
Excellent. If the wind happens to come in and the downpour comes, is that going to change the way that you're approaching your opponents tonight?
Honestly, not really. I think that it's going to be a different game, but we're approaching the same either way. We're a very consistent team, and that's what we've been preaching in our games at practice all the time. Doesn't matter what the uncontrollables are, we're going to be playing our game, and that's how we're going to win.
Not only preaching it, you guys have been doing it pretty well over the course of the season. Thanks for your time. Good luck today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, so good luck to Alex Simmons and the Whitecaps as we take a look Once again, here's our matchup. The Spinners and the Whitecaps. Home field in the playoff is on the line. Both teams are tied for first, 6-3 records. Let's take a look at the starting lineups here tonight. First, for the visiting Spinners on offense, it'll be Ben Sheridan, Nick Kieran, Trey Katzenbach, Matt Glazer, Jake Rainwater, Billy Sickles, and Marshall Ward. On defense, we have Rob Robinson, Gabe Colton, Michael Panna, Matt Esser, Dave Bear, Nick Matheson, and Charlie McCutcheon. We may see Dave Bear play some O-line points as well tonight. And for the home Whitecaps, it'll be some of their wily veterans here. Jeff Graham, Josh Marquette, Rookie of the Year candidate Tyler Chan, Matt Little, Miles Montgomery Butler, Brian Zidd, and Piers McNaughton. On the defensive side, you just saw him, Alex Simmons, the captain, Christian Foster, Ryan Richardson, Terry Roth, Jack Hatchett, Eric Stevens, and Sean Doherty. We'll step away one more time, but when we come back, Whitecaps and Spinners at Hormel Stadium. Hormel Stadium is the site this week. Will it be the site in a couple weeks on July 18th for our playoff matchup here in the Eastern Conference? We don't know, but in 40 minutes of Ultimate, we will know, Dusty.
It should be an exciting battle out here between these teams. When we were talking to Simmons just before the game there, you could tell that he was anticipating both a physical matchup, mental matchup, and that the Boston Whitecaps are approaching this game as a must-win almost, because they want to be playing, again, at home in front of your fans. You get a boost, and he's correct. The numbers say that you're much more likely to win at home.
So Philadelphia will be pulling to start in the blue uniforms with the red bottoms. Boston in the white uniforms with the blue numbers and trim. And Josh Marquette has that pass from Jeff Graham, who, again, still potentially nursing that hamstring injury, but feels good and is out there once again tonight. Sidorsky.
Well, even a somewhat limited Graham is a very dangerous weapon for this Whitecaps offense. He's a threat both with and without the disc.
McNaughton finds Chan on a sliding grab. He's looking for the end zone right away. Sidorsky is back, reads the disc, and is in for the score as the Whitecaps take the early 1-0 lead.
And the key there on Chan's execution into the end zone was that he put that disc up high and away from the defender, Deviney, who was attempting to close toward and make a play there. But with a sufficient amount of angle, the height at which he would have to make a play is more than most players can reach.
We went through the starting lineups in our pregame. It should also be worth noting as we talk about players, both teams missing a couple of significant key components. Boston, without Sam Richardson, suffered a shoulder injury last week in their win over New York. Handler Jake Taylor, who's also been a main key cog in their offense, is out as well tonight. And a big loss has been, I shouldn't say surprising, but kind of unknown rookie Sam Kitrow-Snow, who's not been talked a lot about, has been very effective and is inactive tonight on the offensive side.
Well, he was a little quiet early in the season trying to figure out his role on a new team, and he also missed a couple games in the center there. So generally, once he got into the round, in the last 4 games that he's played with the Whitecaps, he's been fire as a cover.
On cue, we do see Dave Bear out there with the O-line. Marshall Ward, we have been told, is out, actually was listed as doubtful coming in tonight. We now know that he is inactive. Haranet dumps it back to Bear. Haranet gets it back. Philadelphia, a very methodical team. They like a lot of passes. Nick Haranet himself has over 300 on the season alone. Maybe he'll reach 400 tonight.
They're working pretty tight to that far sideline. They stacked originally on that sideline with a vertical stack, and they haven't really moved down towards us.
We have a whistle. A pick. Head official Jamie Rhodes making that call and pushing Philadelphia back 10 yards. Jamie Rhodes joined out there by Jonathan Levy, Noah Polsky, Jason Dumont, Scott Burns, and our own Luke Ryan operating the clock tonight.
And that was I'm not even sure what Dave Bear was looking at there as he threw that sort of loopy pass just straight off the field. The same thing happened there, though. They were stacked tight to that sideline and didn't even look to move to the wide side of the field. Now we're going to get Boston with their first chance at a break here.
Boston's defense played a lot of points, and there's a disconnect between Simmons and Ben Katz.
Whatever led to Dave Baer's turnover, it must have been contagious.
So Philadelphia will get it back right around midfield as Jake Rainwater continues to swing near side now with Glazer. Christian Foster coming over to guard him, and Nick Kieran with a rare drop just off his hands on the reset.
Boston looks to be attacking pretty quickly here.
Simmons finds Jack Hatchett all alone. It's Herskew. Herskew matched up with Trey Katzenbach as they send a flick out towards him to his right. Boston looking to continue along that far sideline, and Simmons runs the disc down or tiptoes it into the end zone, and Boston is quickly up 2-0.
The first thing that they did there was Boston, after they sort of took away from going for the very quick, fast break, they settled into a strong end zone offense and just worked it up the field there until they got there. Simmons made a very heads-up play, as you said, running the disc into the end zone, delaying that catch so that it would be a goal instead of just knocking on the door there. Makes it one less pass, one less chance for a turnover, and now Philadelphia is already down 2-0. But then again, they were down 3-0 to start the game last week. Came back and won that. So we're setting this up for an interesting battle.
Continuing the topic of missing players tonight, Philadelphia, I would say, missing more key components than Boston is. They'll be without notable D-line players, Leon Chow, Patrick Lindsay, and Nick Perifico, who's still serving his suspension for his antics a couple of weeks ago against the D.C. Current. Also missing Dustin Damiano, Ken Wells, and Ian McClellan, who's been a big factor for them offensively. Marshall Ward out as well.
Ian has certainly been playing well all season. He adds another dimension as a thrower to their offense. Although he doesn't play all the points for them, he comes in spots and gives rest for some of their players.
There's Ben Sheridan, finds Dave Baer. Whitecaps rookies Vincenzo Vitello out marking him as dumps it back to Nick Kieran.
We also have Esser out here on offense to give them another cutter downfield.
Low throw, nice dig out there. They put this up deep, looking in the end zone for Katzenbach. Beats his man to the spot and goes in for the score, and Philly is on the board for the first time tonight. It's 2-1.
And what happened there was that Philadelphia had about 5 players back behind the disc, and they had Trey Katzenbach isolated down in the end zone all by himself here as Rainwater has the disc. There are no help defenders there. And when you're put on an island with a thrower like Rainwater and a receiver of Katzenbach's quality, then basically a goal is almost assured of occurring.
Had a good size differential, too, from the man covering him, Adrian Banerjee.
I'm assuming that was a switch of some kind.
Must have been, right? You wouldn't expect that matchup.
Yeah, it looked like Herskew was matching it up on him for the most part earlier. And generally a size difference like that isn't something you tend toward.
So it's 2-1. Boston on top. 7:04 left to go as we take a look at the Whitecaps line. Philadelphia's line. Fans still trickling in here. There is a longest line I've ever seen here at Hormel Stadium tonight coming into this game.
Should be exciting. They're coming out to support the Whitecaps. Hopefully they'll earn another game here, and that's not just up to the players on the field. It helps a lot to have support from your fans.
That's one thing of why Philadelphia is feeling that home field might be more advantageous to them in the playoffs. They've done so well in drawing crowds. Here's Thomas Edmonds and Jeff Graham. Graham looking for Chan. He's got him. Chan rather, trying to get around Tom O'Connor. He does. Naughton.
Philadelphia, after they started in a matchup zone, has crumbled into a man here, and they're doing a very good job of staying step for step. Just the way that we heard that Boston was attempting to stay step for step on defense, that's how Philadelphia is playing right now. Pick's going to bring them back 10 yards here, and Graham will still have the disc.
6:12 left to go here in the first. Graham, Boston operating out of vertical stack, though they send a little out from the middle of the stack. Not traditionally what we would see, but at this level, they can get away with it. Marquette
creating a lot of space on the far side. Now that they've gotten over there, I would expect them to get a goal.
And there it is, right on cue from Dusty as Teddy Broward Jarris reels it in. And Boston takes the 3-1 lead.
And we see this consistently from Boston where once they get towards the end zone, they'll shift their stack to one side or the other. They'll swing the disc to the other side, and then you get, in this case, Broward Jarvis on the isolation cut there. There's just too much ground for that defender to cover with a competent throw.
Teddy has been noticeably a handler most of this season, but using his size there, which Boston, we talked a little about before the game, off camera, that Boston doesn't have a lot of size, which is something that Philadelphia does. Broward Jarvis, one of the few bigger guys on the Whitecaps.
Well, yeah, they're not sort of giant in the way some of the players on a lot of the other rosters are. But it's not as though they're playing with a bunch of small players. These are all above average size players for the most part. So it's a team size that they have that puts pressure on their opponents.
They're back out there offensively, sends it out to Haranet, looking for Glazer. He's got him. Foster coming over on the mark. Glazer trying to get around him with the backhand. Instead, uses that backhand, dumps it back to Haranet. Nick.
Philadelphia looks like they're having a little bit of an issue sort of sorting out their cuts. Multiple times they have two players cutting into the same space right now, and I'm not sure if it's they're switching their personnel up on offense or if Boston is just playing particularly well.
Now they move down the field as Katzenbach gets dumped back. Sheridan trying to send one out. This is going to be close, and Christian Foster able to D it away, or Jack Hatchett rather, from Billy Sickles.
Sickles really needed to come to that disc and accept that there was going to be contact as he attempted to make a play on that. He just let Foster make an easy D as opposed to making it much more difficult. Philadelphia is working a bit of a switch here early. They had an over-top defender with underneath man coverage. Now they're into a straight man.
Rescue up to Richardson, who finds Foster. That's Matt McDonald. Missed last week's win over New York. Back out there tonight. Here's Hatchett. And he sends a long flick out to Simmons. Can he get there? Nick Haranet, though, comes over defensively and knocks it away.
It's a very strong recovery on Haranet's part. When that throw went up, Haranet was facing towards the thrower. So by the throw not being perfect and then chasing and committing to getting that block there, he made it happen. He could have easily given up on that.
So some good defense there from captain on the offensive side for Philadelphia. Now he'll pick it up, start things off again, and will immediately huck it down the field looking for Jake Rainwater. Billy Sickles there as well. Hatchett and Richardson back defensively. It's left up, and Billy Sickles skies everyone and makes the grab.
Excellent catch on his part.
Rainwater trying to swing this back out. He's got a wide open Glazer, makes the catch, continuing his Bear. Bear getting around and finding Sheridan. As Philadelphia is showing some love and sharing the disc. Gets it into the end zone and cuts it back to a one-goal game, 3-2.
The play of that particular score was this Sickles catch right here. As you can see, he's the later player arriving, so he can see how that's developing. You can see where the two defenders are. You can see where Rainwater is going up early, and then take his chance right after Rainwater takes his opportunity.
You see that, and here it is on the goal. The score is Dave Bear. Philadelphia got a lot of players down there quickly after that catch by Sickles. It seemed everybody had been 20, 25 yards away from Sickles when he made the catch, but they get down there and a few passes later they're in the end zone.
And they maintained enough spacing as they sort of trailed the play that they could swing the disc to the other side of the field without running through a bunch of defenders who are trying to close down on that and make a block. It was good disciplined recovery on that fast break for Philadelphia after the catch.
Well, Philadelphia will pull. Boston looking to maintain their 3-2 lead as we approach close to about 3.5 minutes left to go here in the first. Marquette's and Scooper over the top to Little.
Started off looking with a couple double teams early, but it wasn't a hard.
It's going to be tough. Nice read by Jeff Graham. That one floated up on Andrews. Brian Zid finds Chan. Chan, nice one-knee throw. Goes down low to make that from. It's to McNaughton. Back to Graham. Jeff fakes that. Big huck flick again, and then turns around with the backhand. Broke the ankles of his defender.
All you need to do is to get him to bite a little bit to open up the window for your next throw.
Paparone tasked with guarding Graham. Chan gets his defender to go down, sends a flick out to Graham. Was he in? He slides, he's in. Yes. That's what Boston likes to see. is Jeff Graham not being hindered by an injury and finding the end zone here at the last week of the regular season.
Yeah, and even if he's moving a little slowly, he's moving evenly. So in the last couple of weeks, we saw him limping a little bit, and I'm not entirely sure he got his right foot into
like
the
just
end
his
zone
left
there.
Foot kind of tumbled in.
It's kind of tough to tell which one was down and which one was just near the ground from here, but it's close. The referees called it a goal. Must be a goal.
There you go.
There's no arguing with the refs. We've learned that bit by bit during this season, right?
Very much from several different players who have lost that argument.
You got to maintain control. That's why you wear the black shirts or the orange shirts, depending on who you're reffing.
Tonight we get the black shirts.
They look sharper in the black.
I agree.
Slimming effect. Like the black socks too. It's key.
2:55 left to go in a 4-2 game now, as Alex Simmons pulls for the Whitecaps.
Phillies coming out in a little bit of a split stack here. 2 players to each side, running a little cross-field action.
Burnett gets it from Bear. It's interesting to see Bear back out there. He the first 2 seasons he played strictly with the offensive line. Now they send a deep huck out to him.
And I got to tell you, that's like the 5th or 6th deep cut that Dave Bear has made thus far in the game. And this is the only one that they've thrown to, and it was effective. But he was that open on multiple cuts earlier. I'm not sure if that's a sign of Boston's defense or something that Philadelphia is trying to take advantage of.
So as we see it again, I started to say Dave Bear had been playing on the O-line for the first 2 seasons, comes over to the D-line as he makes the catch, and then easy put into Glazer. But that's been a lot of the reason behind Philadelphia's success so much is when they would get a turn, they had Dave Bear to go to and be their key cog as an offensive handler.
And as this game goes on, it'll be interesting to see what Philadelphia's D-line does in terms of how they're going to handle the disc. They've been relying on the creativity of Bear, both as a cutter and a receiver and a handler on those turns. If he gets tired, they're not going to be able to put him over back onto the D-line after playing him on offense for most of the game late. So once the pressure gets raised, we'll be looking to see who's handling for Philadelphia's D-line late in the game.
Bear with his 19th assist on the season. Again, most of those coming as a D-line player, though he has played a bit with the offensive line. It's just been that switch. It's been the key for them. Like you said, Dustin, we'll see how this game plays out as McNaughton is all alone. Poached and then decides to let one unload. Chan, the intended target, he gets it just shy of the end zone. He's got to take a step or 2 back and try and get around Esser. Goes to his backhand, all alone, in for the score. Boston continues to unload here. 5-3 now. Take a look at this again. Nice read by Chan.
He broke open very well on that cut, and you can see he steps through very cleanly here to get the break off. Esser didn't move his feet, didn't move his hands, didn't pressure that throw at all on the break side. Near the end zone, an easy break like that is a goal. The chances of your defender being able to close down all the way over there are very slim. It's good execution on Chan's part, though. It's not a simple throw, and you have to get your mark off balance a little.
How tough of that is a matchup for Esser? He's a bigger guy, Chan with a lot of speed.
Yeah.
Think we'll see that most of the night, or Philly go away from it?
I think, Esser's a little bit bigger, but he's not lacking for speed. It's not as though he's one of the slower players on the field. It's just that Chan's #1 asset is his relentless speed. It just keeps coming in waves and waves and waves for every single cut. And if you miss a step on a turn, miss your angle a little bit, then he's going away from you, just as we saw there. There were 2 deep Philly defenders who couldn't catch up.
Good pull from Boston. That one hangs up in the air a little bit, gives them a chance to get down as Katzenbach reels it in. They're in their own end zone right now. Piernet gets it out, finds Rainwater. Foster coming over to Mark Rainwater, finds Sheridan.
Sickles gave a good deep option there early. Sheridan decided not to use it. Now they're getting back into their resets.
Bear to Piernet. Piernet, now he unloads. Downfield, that's Sickles. This one will hang again. It might just float out of bounds, and Hatchett gets over. Gives it a little bit of a tip. Just sends it out the back.
Yeah, the key there was that needed to be in the
Foul
end zone.
Called.
I'm really not sure what that foul is going to be about.
You can take a look again.
I
don't see it.
Yeah, it looked like he just ran around him to the other side and took the inside route to the disc that Sickles sort of conceded there. I really don't see the contact. And that throw was so suboptimal that you don't want to be rewarding Philadelphia for nearly throwing out of the back of the end zone.
Specifically, the call is pass interference, and then Philadelphia able to get that one in at the other end. Sickles getting the assist this time instead of the goal.
And we saw really strong reset defense there on Philadelphia's first option from Terry Roth. He was bodying Nick Hairnet on the up line cut. They did a good job of taking that, but the second reset defender, who was number 2 in the stack to start, didn't do as good a job of bodying up and taking anything away. As a result, he faked that around cut for the swing and then just ran straight back up the line and got the easy goal from Sickles.
So 5-4 the score as we look at Boston's O-line getting set up to get back out there.
Only a minute left here. This is where we start every quarter. We start thinking about the time a little bit. Do we want to see Boston take more time off the clock, try to limit the amount of time that Philadelphia has to score back? Although in the last couple of weeks we've seen their ability to score with 19 seconds left on the clock, 13 seconds left on the clock. Or do we see Boston just play a standard offense and let the chips fall where they may?
Short pull that will roll a little bit. Marquette's going to get as many extra yards out of it as he can before he picks it up.
Lets his offense set a little bit too. Makes it a little easier to read the defense. They have to declare what their intent
that's
is.
popped up. There's the defense.
It's a fantastic D on that undercut.
Philadelphia with a chance to break here and tie this at 5. Sending it over to Colton.
Running out of time here.
Puts up a hammer towards the back of the end zone, and Chan is right there, smacks it down and away. Boston will have approximately 25 seconds here.
Travel and a turnover. That is a really tough situation. He lost the handle of the disc as he was picking it up to go there, dropped out of his hands, and now it's a turn.
That'll stop the clock as well here, under a minute. 26 seconds. Colton looking for the end zone, and they've got it. We're tied at 5.
Really sold that around backhand fake. Marquette committed to that on the mark, as you have to stop that first throw. But Colton the whole time was gonna send this nice soft inside break to the break side.
There it is. You see Marquette bite, goes low, and Colton has all that space.
And he has to go and stop that around, otherwise it's too easy a goal. The trailing defender has to be closing that space down so that as the inside pass goes through that closing window, you're accelerating and you get a chance for a block there. That turnaround for Chan was really difficult, though. I mean, he's the one who got D'd on the first cut, and then he got the block back and decided that it was time to get the disc moving because they're running out of time, and he just couldn't quite find the handle on it. Traveled in his attempt to sort of get the disc going, just fell out of his hands. It's almost heartbreaking to watch something like that happen from here. It's like slow motion. It's so painful.
Kind of see what the effect of the clock does on the mindset of the players if they're trying to rush. Can do in the final 20 seconds here. We're down to 15 though already. Marquette has it, trying to get around Trey Katzenbach. Not an easy task. Sends it out to McNaughton. Sails wide for him. Philadelphia has it in Rainwater's hands. Katzenbach in midfield. Sickles will have a chance to put it up here. Sends a lefty flick. It's blading. It's caught. And then Marquette D's it up. It's still up in the air. It's caught. And they got it. Philadelphia will head into the second with all the momentum and up 6-5 as Paparone just read that the whole way and never gave up.
And this is the time. I'm not sure if we're going to get to see the clock comparison here, but this is right on the edge, and it's a good idea for Philadelphia to just try to get that disc up. Both those players were at a standstill, and when the offense knows that the disc is coming, the defense is at a disadvantage. This ability over the last 2 weeks for Philadelphia to go on runs to end quarters, that's the sort of thing that wins games. This difference now, this easily could have been 5-4 Boston at the end of this quarter. Instead, it's 6-5 Philadelphia.
There it is, 6-5 Philadelphia. They take the momentum, and we head into break. Second quarter coming up here at Hormel Stadium. Welcome back to Hormel Stadium. Between the first and second quarters right here, we have a 6-5 game as all of a sudden the Philadelphia Spinners just stole the momentum right out of the Whitecaps' hands, who had led the whole way up until that final 15 seconds.
And Boston broke early on that second point where they went up 2-0. And then just like we saw at the end of the game last week for Philadelphia, they started charging back at the end of the quarter based on their ability to score at the end of quarters. They got 2 breaks back right at the 5th and 6th goals that they scored, and that's just such a turnaround. And there's not really anything Boston can do to get those points back, so they're going to have to push harder in these in the rest of this game that's coming.
As we look in on the Philadelphia huddle, now changing over to the Boston side.
And there's still a lot of discussion right now
Yes.
between the refs and the Boston coaches as far as when that disc got off, when the throw came, when it was caught, what the clock was supposed to be doing. That's a tough end, and I understand the frustration on the part of Boston, but they have to move on to the rest of this game.
Well, Sam Rosenthal definitely trying to get his explanation. I think he's talking to head referee Jamie Rhodes about the supposed pass interference call as well. I saw Jamie put his arms out again. Borderline call with Jack Hatchett and Billy Sickles getting more or less tangled up at the very back line of the end zone.
And there's also the moment where Chan dropped the disc, didn't actually drop the disc, caught the disc on a non-purposeful bobble and traveled, which caused the turnover as opposed to the drop itself, which is just, I can't express it more than it's just so painful to watch.
Yeah, Boston a victim of their own mistakes to end that quarter. It's something that has not been a trend for them in this season and years past.
Nor even the situation where they give up goals at the end of quarters. They've historically been very good at maintaining their advantage going into breaks and sort of working that clock. So the fact that they're down in this second quarter really has to be sort of wearing on them. Sort of feeling that they could in fact lose this game and not have home field advantage. So we'll see how they come out now.
Innova is proud to support Major League Ultimate and its incredible athletes. As the official disc of the MLU, the Innova Pulsar has quickly become the disc of choice at Ultimate's highest level. Visit innovadiscs.com to find a dealer near you. Wear the same Ultimate gloves as the pros. Friction gloves help your throws and catches in all conditions. To find out more information and to get a pair, visit frictiongloves.com. So as we get set here, it's 6-5 at the beginning of the second quarter. Philadelphia making the road trip here and hoping for the last time they'll make the road trip. Boston not wanting to make the road trip.
For some reason, I'm not sure why they don't love this area of Medford, of Boston in general. Maybe they're just not into the northeast state of mind. More of a mid-Atlantic thing, a little warmer, more humid.
Well, Boston will pull the start here on our MLU Live Game of the Week, Week 11. Jeff Poster alongside Dusty Rhodes. Well, glad you can be joining us here tonight, though. Doesn't seem a lot of people are joining us here in Boston. They're all at the game.
And they've been streaming in here. That's an interesting, I'm not sure if that was a block or a drop there, but that wasn't a 100% throw that Philadelphia needed.
Looks like the disc might be a little warped.
Could be punctured. Somebody could have stepped on it there. But this opportunity for Boston to get a break on the first point will negate some of the difficulty that they had ending the first quarter. Because if Philadelphia had just walked this up, that's almost like earning another break.
See Boston in their vertical stack. Simmons starting it off. Sends it out to Ryan Richardson. Foster. Backhand out to Katz. Nice one-handed grab as he goes up for that one. Sends it to Hurst, who falls down, making the catch. Hurst and Katzenbach. That's a battle of two big guys. And Boston is in for the score with Ben Katz from Eric Stevens. We're tied at 6.
Yeah, and that's a good job of them to tie it right back up there. That does a decent job of taking the sting away. But this turn here, it's a very pressured throw, and it looks like Sickles might have gotten his hand on it first, so we're not entirely sure if that's a drop. It likely would not have been a drop without the defensive pressure. So I'm not sure how we rack that up in the stat book, but it's a pressure play if you're keeping track as a coach.
So Jack Hatchett and Billy Sickles has already been quite the matchup tonight. As we take a look again at the scoring play, And just Stevens getting the dump back from Herskew, and a nice cut by Ben Katz, who has found some time here on the D-line tonight, moving over from, he's been on the D-line a little bit, but mostly with the offensive guys throughout the season.
And yet again, the execution of Boston near the end zone there, it's about creating space and then knowing what your resets are going to do, so being able to time your cut. And now we're going to see Boston use this roller to the sideline. Looks like they're going to double team right away, run a little bit of a zone. Philly breaks right through it down that same side.
And then immediately put up a pass down that sideline to Glazer. And then they turn it right over. Rainwater can't handle that. And Boston will get it back with a chance to retake the lead. Vitello to Cody McInnes, who's seen very limited time here with the Whitecaps in there tonight. Doherty, McDonald.
They've had a number of good deep cuts here, but they're choosing to stay with their resets, make sure that they're going to get this goal. Then again,
miscommunication between Banerjee. I think he wanted to go to McDonald. Doherty wasn't sure either, who was also in the area. And Philadelphia will take it back.
Would have been best served by taking one of those shots early. They had open deep cutters.
The lights are on now at Hormel Stadium as the night gets longer, and Boston defensively does a nice job and stalls out Dave Bear.
It's a tight situation. I felt like he might have gotten off in time, but there were options earlier that were being covered and closed down on by the Whitecaps defenders that made that happen.
Vitello is going to start this off again for the Whitecaps. Get around Sheridan, flicks it out Terry Roth. Roth continuing over McDonald looking for the end zone, and Vitello, a guy who hasn't scored a ton so far this season, but finds it right there. That's his first goal, actually, on the season. As you talk about not scoring, we'll take a look again. There's the swing around. McDonald, Vitello with the good cut in the back of the end zone. That's his first goal in the last week.
It's good for him. And the way that he made that happen is he had the disc earlier and made the cut from, I think he was early on in the stack there, made the cut from behind the disc, cut upfield, and cut across the front. He may have even cut into a space that opened up within the stack, possibly taking advantage of rubbing a defender off a little bit. Should technically be a pick, but if it isn't too egregious, you get a little bit of an advantage there. Your thrower can see the cut develop the whole way, and this Boston offense just always does a good job of creating space for that guy.
I think he started off handling on the beginning of that point, which allowed him to find those lanes. Good vision of the field.
Oh, for sure. And it's taking advantage of what they're giving you, and if they're a step behind, it's just a goal that happens here instead of a 2 or 3 yard game.
So Boston quickly retakes the lead, 7-6. And Philadelphia, a couple of D-line guys out there. As Pana has the disc right now. The tower out there as well.
They're getting really spread out here on offense. They're still about 40 yards away with their deepest players.
What a D right there. Jack Hatchett will not let it go down. He might have had a chance for a Callahan if he kept bobbling that.
Leads to exactly that sort of play where the defender knows that you're cutting in and is just trying to time it to beat you.
And Stevens rips one into Foster, and Boston is right back up by 2.
And the crowd's really starting to feel this as well. There's that run-through block by Hatchett. He was setting this up the whole way. It was a long floating pass, and it was a long cut by Sickles.
He had about 3 bobbles, too, and almost made its way into the end zone on his knees. That would have been impressive.
Right, so he's pretty good at ultimate. Maybe he needs to play a little more flutter guts so that he's familiar with those flipping around discs. And this sort of rocket flick in there is not characteristic of what Boston's offense wants to do in the end zones. But anytime that you can throw a goal, your coach will take that. Even if he disagrees with how you did it, put points on the board, we'll make it better next time, technically speaking. That's 3 straight breaks for Boston to start off this second quarter. And that's a testament to their ability to refocus after their sort of lapse at the end of the first quarter, get right back in it and start attacking Philadelphia again. We saw some of Philadelphia's defensive players out there for that last point, but the last point was 30 seconds. So it wasn't really much of a rest for these offensive players who are right back out here right now.
They turn it over, Bear, and hearing it cannot connect. Terry Roth was in the area, but I just think Nick dropped that.
as we mentioned briefly, the fans are starting to get into this a little bit more than they were at the end of that first quarter. Get them back into this, cheering a little bit louder, make Philadelphia feel that doubt.
McDonald finds Herskew. Doherty. Doherty with a hammer looking to the end zone. What a catch! What a catch right there for Boston. He's shy of the end zone. Cody.
This should be a goal now, but the thing is that he made this fantastic catch coming out of the end zone, sacrificing getting the goal right away. Sticks his arm out there, and you can see that as it hits his hands, there's not a bobble, there's nothing. He grabs it right away and doesn't give it a chance to come back out. And then when he lands, he twists in a way that his arm is allowed to stay straight. He doesn't have to bobble, doesn't have to use that. And now we're going to get some resolution here as to what should happen. Although I'm not sure what he's supposed to do other than get up where he was and then throw the goal no matter what the refs were signaling.
Well, it will not be a score, but what a catch by Cody McInnes. I said earlier, has been limited action this season for the Whitecaps, but making his presence felt right there. Dumps it back to Roth. He gets it immediately back towards the middle of the field, and this time Sean Doherty is in there, so McInnes will get credited with the assist. But man, what a grab.
Oh, it's a fantastic grab. When that hammer came off, it looked like it was just going to drop to the ground, but he does a good job here of coming across the front of the end zone, and I'm not sure who's covering the guy who scored here. He just seemed to entirely lose the defense as he swept across the front of the end zone there, which is what almost every end zone offense looks like. The defender has to be able to anticipate that, see the disc, and stick with his man, if nothing else.
So 6-9, Philadelphia trails, and will be looking to get the disc back. Both teams still with both their timeouts left here in the first half. 6:35 left to go in the second quarter.
And it looks like almost all of Philadelphia's players are staying back on for this next point as well. I'm not sure if that's the best scenario for them or if they should just try to mix something up here, because these players are making mental errors, miscues. Maybe they thought with the early advantage, they were going to be able to play well. But right now, they need to prove it.
Very good pull once again from Christian Foster, floated up there and gave Boston a chance to get down defensively as Jake Rainwater makes that catch. Now gets it back to Pana. Oh, Katzenbach, just a wall for Eric Stevens to run into at a late jump to try and get over there defensively. And you saw him kind of swing through the air. Wasn't anything intentional on Katzenbach's part. Just take a look again.
When you see that the contact is coming, as Katzenbach was kind of aware of at the last second here, you want to brace for it and make sure that once you know it's coming, you win the battle of the contact.
Trey Katzenbach, not a small man by any which way. University of Pennsylvania alum. And Eric Stevens is a pretty small guy, so.
Philadelphia's working out of the vert here. They're getting some deep cuts, but they're not getting any separation on the deep cuts, which is causing their offense to get tightened up here. Good work through the handlers, though.
Looking for Katzenbach, and Banerjee gets over there and makes the defensive play.
That was a nice catch-up and chase down by Banerjee there. He had the inside route, and Katzenbach didn't do a sufficient job of moving over toward where Banerjee was coming from in order to box him out and make that bid impossible. He sort of gave up just a little bit, just enough of the path, and Banerjee was up to put his body out there and see what could happen.
So Boston will get it back, looking for their fifth straight now break in this second quarter. Here's Banerjee. Banerjee unloads Ben Katz and Christian Foster downfield. Dave Bear, Billy Sickles back there defensively. It's going to be anyone's disc, and Foster skies and rips it out of the.
That's a fantastic catch.
Just rips it away from Billy Sickles coming over defensively. Here's Hatchett, and he floats one up. Ryan Richardson all alone and in for the score. Boston has just unloaded in this second quarter with 5 straight goals. As we take a look again, now with a 10-6 lead. Look at this grab by Foster.
And you can see him run around where that sort of scrum of players was and get a better angle at it, coming from basically from closer to the end zone that they were attacking. It gave him a free run, it gave him a free jump, and he got to go up first.
And here's a look at the score, which the scores, it seems, are less exciting than the plays before them all of a sudden tonight.
They're leading to that, but the thing here is that the Philadelphia players weren't even chasing that. They had given up and were not anywhere near that play to be made. That's why they've called this timeout.
Timeout is called. We'll take it to 5:08 left to go. Boston up 10-6. Can Jam is a proud sponsor of Major League Ultimate here in 2015. Can Jam is a fast-paced disc game perfect for the backyard, tailgating, or warming up for Ultimate. Get Can Jam today at the team store or online at canjam.com. Use bonus code ULTIMATE for 10% off your purchase. Skippy Peanut Butter, the official peanut butter of Major League Ultimate, made with the funnest peanuts ever. Skippy, yippee! Jeff Poster alongside Dusty Rhodes. I think the fans are saying yippee here at Hormel Stadium tonight after the plays they've seen.
Well, that certainly would be, and fans are still coming in at this point. A decent number of them have been out since tailgating before this game. And the game that they're coming into right now, if you're just showing up, it looks like it's just 10-6, so you'd assume that Boston had been ahead for a while, sort of been in control of this game. But Philly stepped up early, and then since then, Philly stepped up early and even owned the first quarter at the end, and Boston here has run off 5 straight breaks to start this second quarter, and that's not the sort of run that you see too often.
Not really, and talking to Billy Sickles before the game too, or Billy Maroon, I should say, not Billy Sickles, he said that Boston is not a team that will give up a ton of runs, but they certainly are scoring a ton of their own runs.
It's been impressive thus far. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that Philadelphia is doing wrong or what it is that Boston's doing well. Philadelphia has had some execution errors. They've had some spacing errors downfield where their downfield cuts are coming from too far away for in cuts. Their deep cuts aren't getting that much separation except for when Dave Bear goes deep, which might be planned on Boston's part. Aside from that, the aggression with which Boston is attacking and being able to verify these break opportunities and turn them into goals. That's what has made the difference thus far. And it looks like Philadelphia called that timeout, and they're putting this same line back out there. Either this line has to figure it out, or Philadelphia is going to need to change up entirely what they're doing and get these defensive players on the field. They've been sitting for these 5 points. I think they played 1 point that was about 30 seconds. But if the offense can't figure it out, the defense needs to be on the field.
Pana, the one exception out there with the regulars of the Philadelphia line, Glazer, Sheridan, Katzenbach, Kieran, Sickles, and Rainwater. With 5:07 left to go, Kieran will start things off. He's got Simmons on him, dumps it back to Pana.
They came out in a side stack here, and for the first couple throws, they weren't even cutting. So that may be a little call play to use the handlers first and then get a cutter. But now it's like they're all sort of cutting in the same spaces and at the same time.
There's Katzenbach, midfield, Herskew on him. Rainwater. Low throw. Sheridan looking towards the end zone for Haranet, and that's what Philly needed out of the timeout. You get one back, their first one here in the second quarter. It's 10-7. 4:32 left to go. Take a look again.
Once Haranet got downfield, they fronted him so that he couldn't come back to the disc, but they fronted him by about 15 yards there toward the end zone. And as long as the thrower sees that, the receiver knows the disc is coming, that's a pretty easy execution goal. And that's precisely what, as you mentioned, Philadelphia needed to get out of that sort of slide downhill. They're falling down a hill just filled with gravity. It's just impossible to get out. Now their defense, the best thing that Boston can do right now is to score quickly. The second best thing they can do is run off a lot of time and score without a turn. Because if you can prevent the defensive side of Philadelphia from ever seeing the disc here, they won't be comfortable if you can get a couple scores going to half. They won't have seen the disc in actual live play since the first quarter.
First time we've seen Boston's O-line in quite some time.
Philadelphia's here in a matchup zone a little bit, taking these players after their first or second cut, a couple other switches.
Very low throw by Graham, but Marquette digs it out.
Boston's working out of their standard vertical stack.
He's put to Chan.
Yes, it was.
And he unloads, looking for Brower Jarris downfield. He's got 3 Philly defenders coming over, and a couple of guys tipped it up. Brower Jarris, I think, looking for a call. He's not going to get it.
Yeah, there was some contact there, but it looked like the defender was up, had a play on the disc, and the contact might have been caused by Brower Jarris attempting to go off a little bit later than the defender was already there.
Esser trying to shove off Chan. This throw might be shallow, and McNaughton rips it out.
McNaughton did a great job of establishing and maintaining position there.
Jeff Graham going up high, making that grab. Fakes that big flick again and sends a smaller one over to Chan. He sends one out to McNaughton. He can't get there. Might have been touched, but
I think it got
an awkward angle.
I think it got tipped right at the end there, although I'm not sure that would have been a catch if it was not tipped. Chan, that's 2 turnovers in this point for him. And this blade that just sort of dies down, yeah, looks like he got a piece of it.
Just enough.
But that's not really an intelligent decision, especially in a situation where you don't want to give the disc back to Philadelphia, and in a situation where you have already thrown a turnover.
And they just throw one right there again.
Maybe they're throwing it near Chan, hoping that he will just give it back to them.
He's stepping away from it this time. He's learned his lesson, I guess.
Sometimes you get into those points and there's no way for you to do anything right.
Go with the veteran Marquette. That's Brower Jarris. He's looking for McNaughton, and again, even the speed of McNaughton can't catch up to that one in Boston. All of a sudden, their O-line having some trouble finding the end zone.
Boston got exactly what they wanted there off of the stoppage. They got one swing pass to Brower Jarris, and then they set up a very good cut from McNaughton with no help defense, just going into the goal there. The execution from Brower Jarris was insufficient.
Esser has it. High. That's Connor making the catch. Meta. Haven't seen much of him so far tonight. There's a big put downfield to Mike Bear. Chan coming over, he can't beat him, and Mike Bear is in for the score over Tyler Chan. And Philly's gotten 2 back in a row here. It's 10-8. Take a look again. Swing by Meta, and the big put.
It's good confidence there in the ability of Mike Bear to maintain his advantage, get to that disc where he put it, because you could see when he released that he put some power behind that disc. Because Chan closed on it, and if it had floated a little bit more, he would have had a chance at a block. And it looks like Philadelphia has called their timeout here, so we should be pulling from half field when we come back.
We'll see that. 2:03 left to go when we come back here at Hormel Stadium.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Back here at Hormel Stadium, Jeff Poster alongside Dusty Rhodes as we take a look at the Philadelphia huddle, who will be looking to pull from midfield, final 2:03. Trying to get some momentum back here. They scored 2 straight. It's 10-8.
Yeah, they need to get they need to close this down 2-1, or at least threaten to get a break before this half goes out. If they go down in the third quarter, 2 points going to half, something like that, it's going to be a little more difficult for them. Boston will have a chance to regroup. That was sort of the first chance that we saw to see Boston's offense here. If Philadelphia can maintain this play that they just had on this very last point, their ability to capitalize on Chan's 2 turnovers, this could be a telling point for both teams.
Boston's O-line looked maybe a little rusty, having sat for so long to begin that second quarter, as their defensive unit there put up 5 straight breaks.
It's a heck of a run.
All different guys, too. Katz, Vattel, Foster, Doherty, Richardson, the 5 men to score for the Whitecaps to open up that second one. Here and Mike Bear getting a couple back themselves for the Spinners. This one not over, obviously, yet. We still got 2:03 left here in the first half. Again, this is officially the preview of the Eastern Conference Finals. These are the two teams that will be playing. Just a matter of where.
It's interesting to see the way that the strategies will develop between these two teams over this week and the next week. We've seen Philadelphia specifically has been running some matchup zones out of the pull plays. Boston, for the most part, has been, as they described earlier, trying to challenge every single pass all over the field. It'll be interesting to see if they change that or shift that during this game, or if they wait to add in other tactical ideas before the next playoff game, or before the first playoff game, excuse me.
So the midfield pull, gobbled up by Boston's Matt Little. Didn't get too far into the end zone. Naughton shakes off Sidorsky. He backs off, and they swing it back out to Little.
Boston working out of a horizontal here.
Marquette directing traffic, as he likes to do.
With that poach off of the second handler from Davini, that just gives Marquette an opportunity to throw whatever he wants.
Arjaris unloading, and again, Chan can't get there. Some contact. He's looking for the call. He doesn't get it.
Yeah. I think there was contact on him, but after he dropped the disc, it looked like that disc bounced right out of his hand, and then the defender came up and hit him on the elbow.
Fans don't like it, obviously.
Yeah, it looks like there may have been a little bit of contact beforehand, but that play was on Chan to make the catch.
Chan desperately trying to get it right back there at the layout pit against McCutcheon, doesn't get it, instead he dumps it back to Colton. No contact there.
That's the sort of play that you just can't have from a unit that needs to get that break, needs to work up the field. This could be a 3-point game for Boston going into half rather than closing that deficit down for Philadelphia.
We're under a minute, 40 seconds left to go. And they find the end zone. Jeff Graham from Josh Marquette. It's pretty easy when you're right there.
Well, it's a nifty little cut there from Graham as well. He started sort of on an in route straight towards the thrower and then tilted his... Once he got his defender up to speed, he just came back toward the inside here. All he needed was one step, and that little turn with the quickness of feet, one step ahead of his defender, and the thrower is more than competent to deliver a goal that easy.
Second time Graham has found the end zone tonight. And a timeout call this time by Boston, who will pull from midfield with 37.6 left to go here in the first half. Welcome back to Hormel Stadium. You see that last spot there before we came back. The journey to Philadelphia is here in the final week of the regular season. We'll have the playoffs. July 11th is out west. We'll be Portland Stags and Seattle Rainmakers. We'll be in Portland. Portland had that locked up a long time ago, it seems.
They've been performing very well over the whole season.
Following week, July 18th. Again, we still don't know. It'll be either right here at Hormel Stadium or in Philadelphia. The Spinners and Whitecaps. Out of those four, we will see two of them at the beginning of August at PPL Park, which is normally home of the Philadelphia Union. Will be home once again, second year in a row, the MLU championship game.
It's a lovely field down there.
It's beautiful.
Both the quality of the grass, the quality of the levelness of it. I mean, it's used for soccer, so you don't want any sort of things to trip you up. It's just, it's so nice. I like working there a lot.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm excited to be in the booth this year, having been on the field side a year ago. So make sure you check the MLU's website. That's mlultimate.com. Follow them on Twitter. Follow all these teams on Twitter. And make sure you get tickets for that. You can head over to mluchampionship.com Make sure you are in Philadelphia in August, because the way these 4 teams have been playing this season, especially Portland had that locked up out west for a long time. They've been great. Seattle has come on as of late with the return of Khalif Al-Salim. Boston and Philly have both been great here for the whole season pretty much, and it's going to be a fun time at PPL Park.
We played all of these 10 games just to get to the point where we can get down to 2 teams on each side, get the best ones, get rid of the guys who aren't playing well this season, and then we can see the best ultimate of the MLU year as the season winds up.
Well, first we have to know who's going to finish in first in the East, and once again,
Fielding error.
Christian Foster is able to roll that pole right past Mike Bear out the back of the end zone.
And there's no disc here at the end zone, which is the way these are usually set up for him to have an option to get this into play sooner.
Well, clock starts at 35 seconds. Dave Bear sends a flick out into a crowd. Rainwater is there as well as Glazer, and it's tipped up by Doherty, and Glazer's not going to have a chance to come over and get this one. Boston will have about 20 seconds here as Jack Hatchett picks it up.
Rainwater and Doherty got there just at the same time. All you have to do is tip it on defense.
Cats to Foster. Foster. Eric Stevens, good to see him back out there. He sends a flick into the end zone looking for Jack Hatchett, and Hatchett's got it. The Axeman.
That is the sort of thing that Philadelphia so sorely needed to avoid. They were on the verge of being within 1 point, and now they're down by 4. It's the sort of thing that you may not be able to come back from. Hatchett does a great job here of going up early enough and making sure he has enough space to get his feet in bounds, and the defender just didn't really have an opportunity to close on him.
Leave Philadelphia with 5.7 exactly, and they'll take their final timeout here in the first half. It's 12-8, Boston on top of Philadelphia. Look in the Whitecaps huddle. They've got to be feeling good right now, up 12-8, and definitely stealing the momentum away from Philadelphia. We close out this second quarter. Just 5.7 seconds left to go. Jeff Poster alongside Dusty Rhodes for our MLU Live Game of the Week here in Week 11. We'll have a little bit of a break before we get to the playoffs, but
a little bit. So it'll give the teams a little bit of time to prepare for each other. It'll give us a bit of time to prepare
for the game.
And
them.
Make sure that we're totally on point up here in the booth. And I'm excited. Like
I am too.
Having a little bit of that break in between, sort of, it'll give me an extra week to think about it. What's going to happen? Like how are the matchups going to break down? I'll get a chance to watch this video a couple more times. I'll get a chance to watch all the things when they matched up against each other over the previous course of the season. Once you get that idea of what the teams are bringing to the game, then you get to see how they alter it for their specific opponent. You get to see how they diverge from their game plans. It's the sort of thing that the more time you have in between these matches, your strategy kind of plays even more into it.
We'll have a new champion this year, as the DC Current have been since eliminated for the first time. Boston actually the first team, or the only team, I should say, has made the MLU playoffs in all 3 seasons thus far. So congrats, obviously, to Sam Rosenthal and his staff, as well as Billy Maroon and his, for reaching the playoffs for the first time.
Yeah, that's not to be overlooked.
No, not at all.
Oftentimes in sports, you need to get to the playoffs before you can have success in the playoffs, and now they're there. We'll see if they can do it right away.
Let's talk about this. The big stage. Boston's been there. Philadelphia really hasn't. Do you think that is affecting them at all? Maybe even in this game?
It's certainly. I'm not sure.
We'll come back to that.
You got me stuck there.
We'll come back to that. You see this disc sail out of bounds off of Dave Bear's throw. That's the way the first half will come to an end. We'll step away. It's 12-8. Boston went on a run here at Hormel Stadium. It's halftime. Sorry.
such a good find. It's clear that you were made for me. We could be believably so carefree, for all the world to see that you were made for me.
Welcome back to Hormel Stadium as the beginning of halftime. It's 12-8, Boston on top of Philadelphia. And in Philadelphia, we get their head coach, Billy Maroon, on the field side.
Hi, Billy. Dusty Rhodes here. How are you feeling so far?
How are you, Dusty? Not too good.
Too good.
Did you pick us to win today?
I don't think I did. You're away from home.
So we should win, because you're usually wrong when you. Every time you picked us to win, we lose, and every time you pick us to lose, we win. So
well, that's good for you, because
I just got optimistic just now.
I'm here to help. So speaking of that comeback here, what sort of things can we expect you guys to put forth to try to get back into this game?
Well, first thing, we have to get a pull play off. I don't think we've gotten one pull play off this half yet. And once our pull plays come off and we get our defense on the field, I think we're going to be fine. I think we'll go on a little run.
So do you think some of the issues with that on offense are related to missing players or something that Boston is doing?
Definitely hurts not having Marshall and Ian. We're bringing over Dave Bear to play on offense. It hurts a little bit. We practiced with the offense all day Wednesday. You know, we thought we worked out some kinks, but there's obviously still some kinks out there.
And we've been seeing y'all come out in a sort of a matchup out of the Boston pull plays and things like that. Once you've gotten those turns, how will we see y'all move the disc in the second half here? Yeah,
so it hurts us on both sides of the disc. So Dave coming over to the offense hurts our defense's offense.
Right.
And so we're hurting both ways. We might make some personnel changes this second half just to make sure we have some more handlers out there when we get a D.
Yeah. And, your team has shown the ability to play defense against Boston right now. Is there anything specifically that you're looking to attack on their offensive side?
We want them to throw that last throw. We want them to go deep and us track it down. We want to take away the unders. We want to take away their around throws and their break mark throws, and then everything else will fall into place.
Excellent. Well, first of all, thank you for your time, and I hope you have better luck in the game than I have picking your games. I'm trying to get better at that, but I just don't have that. I don't have the talent yet.
You're good at picking everybody else in the league. I have to give you that.
Oh, I deserve it. All right. Get back with your team. Come out in the second half. We look forward to seeing it.
Thanks. Nice talking to you.
So thanks to Billy Maroon for joining us there. We'll step away again here and go over some of the plays of the week when we come back here at halftime. Welcome back to Hormel Stadium at 12-8 score here at halftime. We've seen some exciting plays so far this game, but we always like to take a look back at the week past. Let's see our plays of the week from last week here in week 10. We'll take a look first, the defensive play of the week
sort of defined this game we're watching right now as well.
Yeah, we could see some of those. Nathan Lamb out west. This was an impressive play, just good continuation defensively.
It's the chase down, the ability to read that disc and get there just as the Dogfish player tried to get there as well. Can't tell exactly who got that first. They both got their hands on it, but the defender comes away with it for sure.
Here's the Friction Gloves catch of the week. Just stay right here in the Eastern Conference. Delrico Johnson, definitely a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, but right in this clip, it's showing some ups and some great job on offense.
And Schaffner just puts this up despite the fact that Delrico seems to be covered by 3 Philadelphia players there. Goes up, finds the space, creates the space for the area to catch that, and just let's just take a look at it again. This is a fantastic catch.
3 Philly defenders. At that time, that game seemed like it was going to be DC the whole way.
That's a very special corner in this game, too. We'll see something else coming off.
This is the Innova throw of the week. Right here at Hormel Stadium, Christian Foster said quite a bit of nice throws this season. There's another one.
The best way to get out of a double team is just to throw a goal. They're unlikely to double team you if every time you see a double, you just throw a goal.
Ben Katz with the layout. I love Eric Stevens' little high step celebration in the background. I don't think people appreciate that as much. And here, Philadelphia, Billy Sickles. I thought this was kind of the momentum shift for Philadelphia in this game right here.
Absolutely was. And this is a moment where this is the sort of throw that we rely on from Ian McClellan. He knows where the defense is coming, knows how to bank that disc so that Sickles will have a shot at it, and the defense will sort of be removed from the play as we talk about so frequently. But Sickles did a great job of finding the right space here, going up when he needed to.
For the score, too, it was just very impressive. Defender missed time there. Jump went up a little early. Sickles read that beautifully.
Well, and the issue with that defender is that he's backing up into the play, so he's not attacking it with like if you were going to run and jump and touch the back, if you're going to run and jump and catch it, you want to be going forward, not going backwards. It doesn't take advantage of your ability to jump with your feet.
So there's your plays of the week. I'm sure we'll see something from this game next. Well, in a couple of weeks at the playoff game, we'll have to look back for the plays of the week. Let's step away once again here. It's 12-8 at halftime at Hormel Stadium.
Just one of a kind, my dear. Such a good find, it's clear that you were made for me. We could be believably so carefree, for all the world to see that you were made for me.
Everybody, welcome back to Hormel Stadium at halftime. I'm happy to be joined by the Executive Vice President of the MLU and our sound guy tonight, actually. Nick Darling is here with me. And Nick, I mentioned it a little bit when we came back from one of our breaks, but the MLU Championship is coming up again. Excited?
Oh, man, we are getting very, very excited about it. We're running the championship game again in Philadelphia at PPL Park, the home of the Philadelphia Union, which has just been a fantastic stadium partner to work with, really helping us get the show right, get the game right, get the promotion right. It's going to be a big game.
What can we expect? There was a lot going on, especially pre-game leading up to the championship last year. Is it more of the same? We have new stuff that fans can be looking forward to?
We're going to have a couple new things out there. I don't want to tip our hand too much
Okay.
on it, but we're definitely going to have another $10,000 throw at halftime. That was a lot of fun
That was
last year,
great.
the disc golf throw. We're going to have a nice big tailgate starting at 2, a kids clinic, and a lot of opportunities to get out there and play some games and get warmed up for the big game that comes at 6:30.
6:30. And when exactly should fans when they should be looking for that date?
So August 8th, Philadelphia, 6:30 p.m. Tailgating starting at 2 p.m. And you can get all the details and follow along with everything that we're doing at MLUchampionship.com.
MLUchampionship.com. Make sure you get over there. Follow on Twitter as well. There'll be updates there.
There'll be updates on our Twitter and Facebook as usual, and of course we'll be talking about it pretty much constantly between now and then. So keep track of articles on the MLU website. You'll see a lot of announcements come out as we get closer to the date.
I have to ask too, being such a presence in the league and seeing all these teams play, you have a prediction? Who might be there? Can you share that prediction?
I'm very careful not to share any predictions that we have there. What I am excited about, though, is that the 4 teams that are left vying for this championship spot are all incredible teams, and I think that we're going to see a really good matchup regardless of who makes it there. You know, Portland, Seattle, Philadelphia, Boston, just a lot of athleticism, a lot of great players, and a lot of different systems. So that matchup's going to be really entertaining to watch.
It'll be fun. Again, August 8th, 6:30 p.m., PPL Park, MLUchampionship.com. What else more do you need?
Well, if you can't make it there, too,
tune in.
We'll be right MLU Live.
Myself, Dusty Rhodes will be on the call, so MLU Live will be there, and you really should be there, though.
You should get there if there's any way you can possibly get there.
As much as I like to promote myself. Yeah, get to PPL Park. Thanks, Nick, so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you at PPL Park.
Excellent.
All right, it's halftime here. We'll step back and come back third quarter in just a bit. Hey, that was...
You are just one of a kind, my dear. Such a good find, it's clear that you were made for me. We could be believably so carefree, for all the world to see that you were made for me.
Do you have an athletic event, team trip, or corporate outing come up? If so, charter a private bus, a minibus, or a party bus from U.S. Coachways. Bus travel is one of the safest, greenest, and most affordable ways to get your group to an event. If you're going with a group, trust U.S. Coachways. That's what we do. Go to discstore.com to purchase official merchandise of Major League Ultimate. That's game discs, apparel, accessories, and more. Discstore.com is the world's premier supply of Ultimate Frisbee products and the official store of Major League Ultimate. Discstore.com, that's discstore.com. Here we are as we get set to start the third quarter. Jump Poster alongside Dusty Rhodes. Got to thank again Executive Vice President Nick Darling for joining us at halftime and giving us all the info we can possibly need for the championship on August 8th. And we're still waiting to see where our playoff matchup will be played here in the Eastern Conference. It's crazy that it's come down to this, the way this Eastern Conference has battled down in these final weeks.
It's been interesting to see the way that each team has responded to being in a tight playoff race. We saw this year DC was challenged a little bit near the end, and they were unable to sort of step up to the challenge. Last year they just rolled through everything.
Right.
They were almost an unstoppable machine. This season, however, they were put to the test a little bit more at the end of the season. Just didn't seem to have it. That said, what Nick said during the interview earlier was perfect. These teams with Philadelphia, Portland, Seattle, and Boston, each one plays a definitively different style of ultimate on offense. They have different characteristics on their defensive sides. And one of the things in boxing, in MMA, is that style makes fights. And the way that we watch these two teams interact today is instructive not only for how they're going to match up, but how they'll match up against an opponent from the East Coast, from the West Coast.
Do you ever think you would have compared Ultimate, a classic non-contact sport, to MMA and boxing before that right there?
Yes. Because I think that the interactions between the thrower and the mark are quite similar in relevance. Because throwing is sort of like throwing a punch. Kicking is sort of like, you got to keep your balance, find a way through your opponent.
And then there's catching, just like that fantastic one Piers McNaughton just made. Boston starts with the disc here at the third quarter. Have a 4-goal lead. Sidorsky. That's Brian Zid. A lot of getting tangled up with Paparone.
Not really sure about that call.
I don't like it either.
The defender was sort of laying on the ground there, and Zid did not have to walk over him. He could have chosen to go in any number of other directions.
They both just kind of fell. Jeff Graham right about a centimeter away from the end zone. Tosses it in to Josh Marquette.
Marquette and Graham are two of the best players that I've watched in terms of getting open in these tiny little spaces where Graham has the disc. Eventually, we'll get a look at the defense here. Oh, I'm sorry, the catch. I forgot all about the catch.
That catch from Piers McNaughton
slipped my mind amongst all the other things.
And so many.
The ability of Marquette to get open in a little tiny space here as Graham has the disc is the sort of thing that you can't rely on everybody to do, but when you have players who can do that on your team, it just makes scoring that much easier. You don't always have to rely on a structured offense to manufacture scoring opportunities.
Well, one guy that we did talk briefly about, no, not necessarily in the most positive way, was Brian Zid on that play. It's worth noting tonight will be his final game with the Whitecaps. He's had a job opportunity to open up for him out on the West Coast in San Diego. So he will not, unfortunately, get to see this team and where they play in the playoffs or if they make the championship. But he's been an effective player all 3 seasons here in the MLU for the Whitecaps. The team has wished him well. And final game for the veteran Brian Zid as Philadelphia turns it over.
Just a drop there.
Boston will take over, looking for another break. They've had a plethora of them tonight. Here's Matt McDonald. Swing it back over to Alex Simmons. Gets it right back. Continuing. Oh, great grab by Jack Hatchett. And he wastes no time flicking it in the end zone by Ben Katz. Good recovery from Hatchett. That throw was behind him. Goes to his opposite hand and makes that grab.
He did an excellent job of catching that. The pass, as you mentioned, was just so behind him. And
Here it is.
He just stuck his paw out there. And it stuck to his paw that he stuck out there. And then had the confidence and awareness to just turn upfield, look for his standard offensive option, complete the next pass. It's almost like that difficult catch that he made wasn't anything to write home about. And that's sort of the way that Boston has been approaching this defensive run that they've been on since the end of the first quarter. They started off with 5 breaks. They got 6 breaks in that second quarter. And now they add another break. So that's 7 breaks since the end of the first quarter. And they've only scored 2 offensive points there. So it's a 9-point run, 7 points on defense, to Philadelphia's 2 points. One was a break, one was a hold. That's a dominating performance in any stretch of the game. But now that we're a minute and 10 seconds into the third quarter here, Philadelphia's looking at a giant uphill battle for the rest of this game.
I think they start to scramble a little bit, maybe panic, try to get back to this one and force throws that aren't there.
Honestly, the way that they've been playing, it looks like they had already started to panic a little bit. They're missing throws, they're missing catches, they're getting pressured in their resets here. They already got stalled once. That was pretty close to another stall. Philadelphia is looking disorganized and out of sorts.
Katzenbach trying to bring some stability right now. Layout bid defensively from Stevens, not there. Sheridan able to get it. They find Glazer. Heronette.
Again, Dave Bear is there making an open deep cut, and it's like that's what Boston wants them to do.
Katzenbach a flick towards the end zone. They've got it with Sheridan.
It was a good inside break there from Katzenbach to make that goal happen. And it was a solid cut with a lot of room on the break side from Sheridan as he came all the way across the field here. And there's just enough room that that's an easy play. The issue for Philadelphia is going to be, however, can they get enough breaks to get back into this game? Thus far in the game, they've gotten 2 breaks.
Defensively,
3 breaks, I'm sorry. 3 breaks. And they're going to need at least, what does that add up to? 5. It's a really tough math for me, 14 minus 9 for some reason. They're going to need at least 5 breaks to get this game tied.
Oh, we haven't had a chance to see much of Philadelphia's defense, like we haven't seen much of Boston's offense, because Boston's defense has had so many breaks. Just very much what they did against New York a week ago. And Boston had guys like Jeff Graham. He just said, I think I'm done for the night because I'm going to rest my hamstring and take a break here. Our defense has got this.
Got to get ready for those battles against Philadelphia instead of New York, it sounds like.
Exactly.
A little out of bounds pull here. Looks like Boston will be setting up in a side stack, 4-player downfield side stack, 2 sort of handlers almost parallel to Marquette.
Edmonds was in the back of it, made the first cut and can't get open, so they dump back Broward Jarris.
Good little switch there from Philadelphia on the up line cut.
And that one a little too low for Teddy. Can't get to it. And Philadelphia with some good position here and a chance to break themselves. That's McCutcheon. Over to Pana. And Pana with an errant throw.
Turns out the roller is not a viable pass.
Chan.
A little gun shy there. He had 2 open deep cutters.
I think he's realized Chan has struggled tonight.
It's been a tougher night for him throwing. And yeah, in the end zone too. I forgot about that little drop. Got D'd earlier.
Edmonds gets it around to Broward Jarris.
Good job on Davini preventing that around break from getting off from Broward Jarris.
Edmonds gets it back. Young man out of the University of New Hampshire finds Chan. This time Chan looking for his Tufts teammate McNaughton, and he's got him with about 1 step before he went out of bounds. He's into the end zone for another score.
Yeah, no need to second guess that throw. There was enough space there that he was more than capable of delivering this to the back of the end zone. Yeah, and Esser was pretty well beat on that play. He had committed earlier to sort of a cross-field cut, and it was off balance as the offensive player sort of veered toward the back corner of the end zone, and then Chan put out that outside in flick to the space that he saw open up, provided by his receiver.
Not most likely, probably the fastest guy on the Whitecaps was Key Cog in their win over the Current a couple of weeks ago, which really set the stage for this matchup tonight, as Boston just kind of maybe deflated DC, took them out of it a little bit, winning on DC's home turf. McNaughton came on in the second half, didn't really see any playing time in the first half, had 3 goals using his legs.
It was a dominating performance in the second half on his part. He was there on every big play.
There's Dave Bear looking to dominate, and he sends it right to Adrian Banerjee. It's some good coverage on Katzenbach.
Underthrown, too. The receiver was very far away, maybe about 40 yards or so when Bear released that.
That went a little too high even for Tanner Johnson. Doherty, so Philadelphia will get it back. Here's Rainwater. Chan. Laying out for the bid defensively, and Dave Bear is able to beat Alex Simmons, who was draped all over him. And Philadelphia gets another one back.
With the way that pass was thrown, it was floated up in the air, and that's usually not the way that you want to put it out in front of a shorter receiver. You can see here, it just hangs up.
Yeah.
But right there, Dave Bear makes a claim and decides that this is the ground that he's going to have, and you're going to have to go through him to get that disc. Holding off Alex Simmons is not an easy task. He's an aware defender, he's a fast defender, and he's more than willing to take whatever space you give him to make that D. That was all on Bear to make that a completion. That should have been a turn.
Both teams trading points here in the third quarter so far.
More sloppy play, too. It's been mostly on that far sideline where we've been seeing these drops happen, but it's both teams. In the second quarter, it was mostly Philadelphia making those sorts of errors, but Boston has not been immune either.
Panel will pull. 6:24 left to go. Miles Montgomery Butler looking to track this one down. Haven't seen too much of him tonight. He's normally one of their top handlers. Swinging out to Marquette.
Philadelphia still using that sort of matchup to stymie the Boston pull play. And they've been doing a better job of that than most teams have over the course of the season.
There's Zid trying to get around Matheson. This one is aired out. Two guys back from Boston. Sidorsky is the one who gets the spot over Esser. Boston just keeps tacking more and more points on the board.
Certainly getting a little back and forth here, and the throw here is sufficient to get to the other side of the field for both of these receivers. And with the high bank that he puts on that throw, the defense is going to have to get up so high, and Esser made a valiant effort there, but the defense has to get up so high that it's almost an unmakeable play.
Sidorsky, another guy with Boston who's got a lot of speed. He's played in spots so far this season. He's battled some injuries. He's still been relatively effective, though. He's a couple of goals tonight. The first one of the game, so this is his second. And that's 13 on the year for him now. He's only played, coming into this game tonight, 61 total points. So Boston with a couple of guys kind of picked their spots.
Yeah, it's good to have a deep enough roster that you don't have to ride your top players all too much. Although they certainly have a couple guys right at the top who play more points than everybody, including Marquette, Graham when he's healthy, players like that. But the rest of their roster is deep, and they find effective ways to use that depth as opposed to just throwing them in willy-nilly.
Internet will pick this up off the pull, deal with Terry Roth, Dave Bear. One out. Sheridan's got it, dumps it right back to Rainwater with space.
Boston is definitely pressuring every pass, and that takes commitment to running hard from the entire defense. If you have one guy not doing it, the defense doesn't work.
Rainwater looking deep for Meta. Cat's coming over. Meta with a lot of length over him, though, makes the grab right in front of the end zone, and then just sends it over the top to Glazer. That was some nice offense from the Spinners.
We've seen passes headed in this direction from both teams where it's sort of floating up and they're relying on their receivers to make a play. As we see here, again, this is all about creating space, and we've seen this from both teams. You have to get there early as the offensive player, hold off the first defender, and hope that there isn't a second guy coming with enough of a run to take a jump at that disc, as opposed to you where you're a little more ground down, specifically if you're creating contact with your opponent.
So Rainwater gets the hockey assist that we'd like to talk about so far this season, a big throw.
It's always interesting to see how those the hockey assist stats work out. Rainwater seems to be near the top of the league in those. But you can never tell if it's just because people are passing near the end zone in sort of a give-and-go set, and then they just find the right guy, or if they're the player making the intelligent pass that leads to an open goal chance, or if they're the guys who just can't hook it into the end zone.
Little tracks this one down for Boston as Philadelphia pulls, trying to scratch and claw their way back into this one, down 5 with 5:10 left to go. Graham gets around, dumps it back to Marquette, finds McNaughton again. Trying to outrun Esser.
McNaughton's speed has been apparent on this point. He's made one deep cut that pulled 2 defenders. He made that in cut there, and now Boston's working back across the field.
Using both sides of the field nicely. Brower just with a scuba, and that one is in and out of the hands of Thomas Edmonds.
Look, he just needed to execute better. That the way that scuba broke back toward the center of the field, it needed to be a little bit softer and a little bit lower.
Philadelphia unloads this one into Tyler Chan's hands, but he tips it right to Paparone.
Just calmly makes that catch out of the air after it was tipped.
Casey sends it up, and there's a score. Matheson, Philadelphia with the break.
It was all made by that tipped catch. That may be one of the few tips that we've seen that were caught so far today, but that's always a game changer, because it should be the sort of thing that isn't a completion, and instead he just, after it bounces off here, he just sticks his hand out and says, yep, I got that.
I'm there.
Not a problem. I do this every day.
That's your D's, right? old adage here, sport of ultimate. Catch your D's.
I can't really think of another sport where that applies.
Really. Take a look again. This was the scoring play. Again, I stand by the plays happening right before the scores so far tonight have been really the more exciting ones.
Although, to be fair, that throw there, it was almost like the thrower was lining up exactly what height his receiver could make that goal catch at, throwing it higher rather than to his chest or out to the side. So Philadelphia's making a bit of a push here to get back in it. They're going to need more than just one break, though.
Matheson, the bigger guys for the Spinners out of Lehigh. He's listed at 6'4".
He makes good use of that size as well.
Foster, McNaughton all alone, poached, fakes a backhand hook and sets it to flick up the line to Sidorsky. Sidorsky, Zid wide open. He's not quite in the end zone. And then he finds Foster. So Boston just continues. But now we do have a whistle, some discussion. And it's going to be a score. Not too much discussion.
Yeah, I got to confirm just to make sure. It looked like they were a little curious about exactly where his foot was when he caught this. But looks pretty clear as a goal from up here.
Thought so.
Best we can tell.
It seemed that he was right on the line. He couldn't have had to throw it too far.
Right. The ability here of Boston, again, once they get near the end zone, they're one of the most consistent teams scoring. Although Broward Jarvis turned that scuba over on the last point, here it's not so much of an issue.
So Boston will pull, looks like Hatchet with the disc in his hand. Meta has come out here with the O-line. We haven't actually seen too much of Billy Sickles here. The second half, actually.
Yeah, they are keeping Bayer out there, so I don't expect to see him out on defense too much for the rest of this game. He's sprinting all the way across the field to consider fielding that pull. It's a tough situation for a handler. Well, not just the handler, whoever's catching the pull. The pull catcher.
Can we make that an unofficial position in Ultimate, the pull catcher?
There's got to be a better name for it, though,
You
right?
would think, yeah.
So, the pulley? No, that can't be right. Good quick break there. We'll see what Sheridan can do from this side.
Finds Rainwater. Rainwater around Richardson. Floats this one up a little too high. If Meta had realized where he was, he could have caught that. Instead, Stevens does a better job, and he gets the catch D. Donald finds Richardson. Katz is poached on the near side. Reads this one, tracks it down. Donald has it right back. I think he thought he was a little closer to the end zone with that leap. Katz gets Sheridan to fall down on the fake. Back to Stevens. Stevens with the OI to Katz.
And that's that same run that we were talking about earlier when you have the disc for a little bit and then cut directly up the field, get up near the stack, maybe create a little bit of contact, maybe don't, and then you make a horizontal cut that the thrower can see the entire cut develop, knew where you were to start from, and the outside in here demonstrates good vision on the part of the thrower.
And you just put it up there like it's no problem.
Yeah, the defender was anticipating that Boston would come back toward the disc, so he's giving him a little bit of cushion. We saw that earlier when Boston was fronting Kieran in the back of the end zone. But once you give that space, a competent thrower with good vision can deliver it to the back and make the defense a non-factor.
Boston now up 6, 18-12, 3:12 left to go in the quarter. Definitely looking to reward all the fans that came out here tonight. Largest crowd I think we've seen to date at Hormel Stadium.
I can't tell if they're still coming in or if they've gone back out and are coming back in, but it's certainly increased from the second quarter on.
Whitecaps cheer going on right now. So Philadelphia trying to get one back. They find Pana. downfield. Esser and Glazer over, and Doherty from Boston is the one who makes the catch.
Took Deviney too long to get that throw out of his hands. He was like lining it up and then eventually threw it. If he had thrown that earlier and deeper, that would have been a better look.
Foster sees Herskew in the back. He can't reach it, and it's caught anyway.
That's
Tanner
the tip.
Johnson.
That's the tip we're always talking about. Tip plays make the difference. Philadelphia got the first one, but this one was totally unexpected. The ability of the high school player Johnson here to, I'm sorry, he must have just graduated, but here to get his hands underneath, that's an incredible play. That's at the last second, the last possible moment he could have made that.
Tanner Johnson, again, just graduated high school a couple of weeks ago. Will be headed to UMass Amherst, play with Zoomass in the fall, but big moment for him right there.
We're seeing Philadelphia seems to be rotating one or two defensive players through with their offensive line, and that gives them a core to work with, like Rainwater and Katzenbach and Bayer and Sheridan are still out right now, but they're adding in Ross Litauer and Himalaya Mehta right now, and that changes up the dynamics of your team. They're not used to working with each other quite as much. But at this point, they have to be grasping at straws. They have to figure out some way to start scoring on offense so that they can get back on defense. That's their only opportunity in this game.
See what Philadelphia can do here in the final 2:40 of the third quarter. Definitely struggling as Boston has all of a sudden in the last couple of weeks, it's like their 2013 team that went undefeated. Here's Dave Bear. He's got a lot of space from McDonald. Swings it out to Glazer.
A Philadelphia player was not realizing he was poached here, and that's sort of the way this has been going for Philly. So they're creating good deep cuts, getting double covered, and then not taking advantage of the poach.
Tower and Vitello very tied up, no call as he got the pass off to Rainwater and caught it. Rainwater sends a low one, the layout bid from Glazer. It's off his hands, and Boston will get it back.
It's a difficult attempt into a closing window there in a pressure situation.
Katz.
No deep cuts really here for Boston yet. Now we've got one.
Hatchett does send it deep. Matt McDonald there with Dave Bear, and he reads it. Bear made a bid for it defensively, and McDonald finishes it off. And Boston already has 20 with still 1:32 left to go in the third quarter. Take a look again.
This is the turnaround of what happened earlier, where Bayer boxed out. McDonald early on realized that this pass is floating, moves in toward Bayer, doesn't allow him to actually track the disc at all, and then just at the last moment hops over, knows where the disc is going, has read it perfectly, creates the goal, and this is the end for Philadelphia. I don't see them having any chance getting back into this game. It's an 8-point difference with 1:32 left in the third quarter. It looks like we'll be back up here in a couple of weeks. That's my call at this point.
There it is. You heard it here first. Dusty Rhodes has called this game with still 11:32 total time left to go.
So, I mean, Boston's gone on a 4-point run here with 3 breaks, and it's just the sort of thing that Philadelphia can't overcome.
Well, you thought they scored a lot in the second quarter. They outscored Philadelphia 7-2. Right now they have eclipsed that and are winning the third 8-4.
Now it looks like they've got a almost entirely defensive line. Just going to put it up to Deviney early.
Foster there, and he knocks it away. Boston just continues to feed off of each other, too. You see Victor Liu as they get deeper into their bench.
And they're still creating open deep cuts here.
Terry Roth.
They don't need to force it, but they've got them.
Foster sending this one down for Doherty, just shy of the end zone. Johnson back there. He's looking for him, and he's got him.
That's excellent execution there on the fast break offense. He made that cut all the way over to the break side. The thrower delivered it there confidently without any pressure from the mark. And you can see it in the eyes of the Philadelphia players that are walking off the field here. They believe it's done too.
There's the big huck from Foster, and Doherty with a nice read. He's all alone too. And then just steps around his mark with the backhand.
Yep. Now it's really not a question of who's going to win, but by how much. Is Boston just going to keep their foot on the gas? Are they going to try some new things out here? Last week when we saw them blow out New York, they were trying out some different zones on their coming down against pull plays. And we heard Coach Maroon talk about this at halftime. Philadelphia has had difficulty starting their offensive points. I don't think that's by mistake. I think that's by design on Boston's part. If they've figured something out about how to disrupt Philadelphia's offense early on in points, that's going to be a telling thing that we can look forward to examining more closely once we get to the playoffs.
The good news for Philadelphia is that this is not the playoffs just yet. They will definitely be playing again July 18th.
Just under a minute here on offense.
McKiernan gets it out. There's Sickles. As mentioned, he's been absent for a couple of points. Back out there, though. Sheridan.
Philadelphia working out of a horizontal here mostly.
Rainwater has it.
Although it still seems crowded. I'm not sure if they're just...
Nato with just a mental mistake with the drop. Had it in his hands.
They're just not playing well together, but if you can't catch, it doesn't matter what kind of cut you're making.
Boston sets up quickly in the vertical. Simmons looking to that back of the stack. Ben Katz. Oh! Might have been tipped by Katzenbach. I think it was.
It's definitely tipped there. That was a setup play for Boston to cut up the line and then across over to the far corner. They all knew where that was going. About 9 seconds here. We'll see if Philadelphia can threaten.
Loser gets it to Sickles. Quickly up ahead, Sheridan. Midfield sends it towards the end zone. Man back there is Rainwater. Meta catches it. Did he get in with the hop?
Not quite. It's a really good effort on his part, though. Good court awareness, good awareness of the time that we had left. However, Philadelphia really should have had more players down there near the end zone to make that a viable sort of Hail Mary throw at the end.
So that's the way the third quarter comes to a close. Boston and Philadelphia inverses in scores. 21-12. We'll head into the fourth.
You are just one of a kind, my dear. Such a good find, it's clear that you were made for me. We could be believably so carefree, for all the world to see that you were made for me.
Welcome back to Hormel Stadium as we get set to start the fourth quarter. It's 21-12. Boston all over Philadelphia, and look to be a pretty good bid to lock up the home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, thus far in this game, in every single quarter, both teams have scored the same amount of holds. So in the first quarter, Philadelphia and Boston both had 4 holds. In the second, it was 1 each. In the third, it was 4 holds each. However, in the second and third quarter, Boston has scored more breaks than Philadelphia has had holds. That's how you get out to a 21-12 lead. You play similarly on offense, but you lay the hammer down on defense.
Well, another note, Canterbury is proud to power your game and as the official apparel sponsor for Major League Ultimate. Visit www.canterburyus.com today, the destination for your team's custom uniforms. Canterbury, committed to Ultimate. Point6 Socks, the official sock sponsor of Major League Ultimate. Check out www.point6.com for their full line of performance merino wool socks. So both teams still look good in their uniforms. And Point6 Socks, regardless of the score, one way or the other, which is 21-12. Boston on top of Philadelphia in Week 11.
Yeah, it'll be. This is a chance for both teams to figure out what they want to do for next week. As much as Philadelphia wants to tell themselves they're in this game, it would take a miracle for them to get back in this game. It's about finding their rhythm on offense, even though they're missing some of the players that they expect to have later. And for Boston, it's figuring out how they want to attack when they're on defense. If they want to try any new things, in addition to what they've been doing, which has been working, to the tune of a bunch of breaks in each of the third and second quarter in a hurry. It's a matter of having a second option if that doesn't happen to work the next time they face off.
Which will be on July 18th, right? Well, I can't officially say it.
You can't officially say it.
We're looking in that direction. Should be back here at Hormel Stadium in Medford. Make sure you get your tickets for that one. The Whitecaps fans definitely got their tickets for this one tonight and have been handsomely rewarded with a great performance from their team, who have just been on a roll the last couple of weeks. Should mention the last time Boston lost was right here to this same Philadelphia Spinners team, but that was way back in Week 5. They've lost to Philadelphia twice. Week 1 was a 22-20 victory in Philadelphia, and then 22-21 in double overtime, which overtimes have not been Boston's friend so far this season. Philadelphia had already won the season series and took a couple of losses late in the season to both DC and New York, which helped set up this matchup between two teams tied for first place. There's Jake Rainwater and underthrows Glazer, Christian Foster with another interception.
We mentioned this earlier, but they're feeling the pressure. They feel like they need to get back into it with one throw, but everyone will tell you the most points you can get with one throw is one, so you need to use a bunch more than one.
Boston continuing to use both sides of the field effectively. Katz, and that's D'd up nicely.
It's good D by Sheridan. Good awareness. Just popped out of the front of the stack there to take that away.
Dave Baird, no mark, finds Sickles. Billy gets it back to Sheridan. Sheridan, a line drive pass right into Herskew's hands. Herskiw gets McDonald, who beats a laying out Sickles. Foster.
Philadelphia here, again, with a little bit of help over the top and then matching up man underneath, providing them a little bit of cushion, slowing down this Boston defensive offense, but time is on Boston's side.
Stevens all the way to the other side of the field. How did Ben Katz? No one saw him over there.
Oh, well, they saw him. They were consciously poaching off of him, and all Boston did was survey the field, hold on to it for a moment, find him, and if nobody's covering you, every single player on this field can make that throw. There's not a player within 40 yards of him.
He just waited for it to come down. Second time we've seen Stevens with those cross-field passes.
And just like they say in basketball, some of the most difficult plays to make are when you know that you have enough time to get the shot off. As that disc is coming towards you, sort of blady, sort of fast, you have time for all these thoughts to go through your head. Which hand should I put on which side of the disc as it's coming toward me? Should I put my hands underneath it so that it doesn't slide through? Should I go for a clap catch as it comes through? What should I do here? And if you let that get into your head, which he clearly didn't, you can make a very embarrassing drop. As you might be able to tell, I'm speaking from experience.
You, Dusty, I couldn't imagine you making a proposed drop like that so far wide open.
Pulls were the most difficult thing for me to catch.
Well, Philadelphia is trying to find some sort of answer. That's not it, as Pana outthrows Maeda.
They're pushing. They're all pushing and trying to do a little more than they're capable of individually. But it's going to take a Herculean effort to get back into it. Maybe they're just trying to give that fourth individually.
A bit of contact, no call. Banerjee wants it. McInnes.
Yeah, Lidauer was close enough to the disc. He may have gotten a finger on it, so there's a bit of contact there. Could have given him 10 yards, but he also seemed to bounce off of Banerjee as he made contact.
Victor Roux gets it back to McInnes. One-handed grab, sends it out to Vitello. We're really seeing, again, Boston's depth here. Roth trying to chase this one down. He can't get there. He got tangled up with Panna. No call. Just some good defense there from Philadelphia.
Quick turnaround.
Getting towards the end zone, and that's just overthrown by everybody.
The defender had two hands on Colton's back there. I'm not sure Colton could have caught it anyway, but there was a little bit of contact.
It's Vitello, and he immediately sends it deep to Doherty, and another bump, and Doherty can't come up with that one. And they will get a pass interference call this time.
That's a little tough to take watching it from the other angle on the last play, but there was contact there that prevented Boston from being able to catch that.
Deviney gets the call, and Doherty will get the disc right on that 40-yard line. Banerjee looking to the end zone. Tanner Johnson, and he rips it away out of the sky over Matt Esser. Third score of the night for the young man from Lexington. Boston now 23-12. As we take a look again, you see Johnson just take off, and you might as well put it up to him if you've got this lead.
Well, that's a danger from the perspective of the Boston coaching staff and the Boston team on the whole. Yeah, you should feel free to challenge yourself a little bit, take maybe a risk or two here that you wouldn't take otherwise, but you don't want to start making bad habits or forcing things, because that'll be the sort of thing that can eventually lead you to a loss in the playoffs.
So 23-12, 6:55 left to go in this game, as Boston just continues to pour it on.
Yeah. Yes.
I assume we have seen the last of Jeff Graham, Josh Marquette in this game tonight. Maybe Teddy Brower-Jars should take a seat as well, as the young legs getting the workload now for Boston. Well, Eric Stevens, though, he's one of the older guys on this team.
For Philadelphia here, we're still seeing just about the same offensive lineup. I'm not sure what the benefit for their team is in that context.
Here's Jake Rainwater. He finds Billy Sickles. Sickles unloads downfield. Dave Barry's going to have to cover some ground to get this one, and he's not going to, as McDonald was right there.
And Bayer, again, he beat his man, but there were two poaches waiting for that throw to go up, and who were in a better position than Bayer was to make that play. And you can see Boston slowing it down here. There's no need for them to rush. The more clock runs, the better it is for them. And this is the sort of thing that you just cannot do against a team as good as Boston. You can't leave somebody open by about 20 yards on the first throw. They're just going to throw it to you.
It's Katz again. He's found all that poached space all night. Here he is again. Instead, they like to go downfield. Simmons, as hearing that beat, dumps it way back to Hurst, who had to catch up to it. Richardson. The other thing, too, is Boston's depth guys are gaining a lot of confidence as we see Ryan Richardson come in, and guys that don't see a lot of time, like Richardson, Vitello, Lou, Johnson, and take another look at this one. They're starting to feel good, like they can play against a team like Philadelphia's top line.
And that's exactly what we're talking about in terms of setting the stage for this next battle between these two teams. If these players who are gaining this confidence now are able to play slightly larger roles the next time these teams meet, that's even more pressure against Philadelphia. And not only that, when we talk about confidence, it's a two-way thing. In order for Boston to gain confidence, Philadelphia has to be losing some points. They have to be failing on some level and letting the Boston players run all over them, which is exactly what's happening. We're doubling them up here, 24-12. It looks like Philadelphia is putting out basically a defensive line here. I would consider doing that for the rest of this game at this point. Philadelphia has played far more offensive points than they have defensive points, and their offensive line has proven ineffective in this particular matchup on this particular night. Give these other guys a chance.
You also don't want to potentially risk some of your top guns who just struggled tonight.
Yep.
You don't want to potentially risk any sort of injury to them.
And again, confidence plays a role. You may want to try to get them out there to have some success, but if they're just going to keep not having success, no reason.
Esser's throw off the mark to Matheson. All short. We've got 5:16 left in this one. Philadelphia has not scored since it was 16-12 back in the third quarter. And Boston was able to hold New York to only 12 a week ago. Will they do the same again tonight? They're setting some very high goal differential.
And Boston's working again out of their vertical stack here.
And you see Johnson. Johnson just takes it in with his left hand, no problems.
All about establishing that position.
McInnes with a little crafty throw to the end zone, but it's not going to get there because it's D'd up.
An issue for Boston is if they continue to sort of show off a little bit and take these throws that they wouldn't take normally, you're going to raise the ire of Philadelphia, not just in this game. That can
the next matchup.
Yeah, it can cause some tense moments in this game, but that's just going to give them 2 or 3 weeks to stew about it and get angry before they meet next. You can see, again, Boston is just taking their time.
We talked about this a little bit before the game, about who this win was more important for, not just for getting home field, but for a mental standpoint, too. And we kind of had a tough time deciding, was it better for Boston to win now and then feel confident going into Philadelphia, or do you think they get angrier? Another great grab from Terry Roth, who was giving up about 3 feet on Meta.
Yeah, he did a very good job coming to that disc. I'm not sure Meta knew he was going to be aggressively attacking that space. But as we see here, it's another opportunity where the throw goes up and we're missing the ability of him to create space, hold off that defender with his off arm a little bit so that it doesn't close down. This is a clinic by Boston right now.
That's one way to put it. 25-12, with 3:46 left to go. Philadelphia is going to have a long bus ride back to the city of brotherly love, where they're going to need some love.
Yeah, and we were as we started to get into, it's about which team would this be better for. And I was assuming that it was going to be a close game, so it was being sort of hard fought, and then to the victor would go the spoils of home field advantage. This is not a close game. There is no advantage to Philadelphia for losing this, aside from if it sparks something in them, so that they'll play the next game a little more focused, a little more aggressively from once we got past that very open.
Offsides called on the pull. A few negative things Boston's done recently. Yeah. So Philadelphia will get some pretty good field position here with 3:46 left to go and a couple of touchdowns in order to tie this one up. And I don't mean touchdowns in the ultimate sense. I mean the football sense.
Got to find that 7-point play.
So Hairnet will start it right at midfield. And immediately they throw it away. That Paparone right there just couldn't make that grab.
You see that Boston is a little confused here. Their instinct is to attack really aggressively, but it's like they don't really want to. They just want to have this game work out on the way that it is, not risk any injuries.
That's a good D right there. Rainwater coming over, not giving up just yet. I see what you mean. You've seen a couple of Boston guys with no mark take steps as if they're going to huck it, and they reel it back in. They look for a swing. They don't go there.
Yep, a little bit of indecision takes you out of your game if you try to play too differently.
Sickles trying to juke around his mark, finds Rainwater. Rainwater, Sickles just shy of the end zone, and he tosses it into Glazer.
Yeah. One of the ways that he got open there in order to throw the assist is that there was essentially a pick right at the top of the stack there. We could hear it from here. There was a smack, and then as he runs to the side here to receive this from Rainwater, the reason there's no defender there is because he got picked off by the top of the stack. Verifies by throwing that easy finishing goal. Pulls Philadelphia within 12 now. That's a goal at least, right?
It's a goal, and it's a timeout as well. We'll take it too. It's 25-13 here at Hormel Stadium. Stop your hands from sweating and increase your performance with Gamer Grip. This non-sticky solution allows you to make better throws and grab better catches without any hints of slippage. Boston hasn't had much slippage tonight. They put on some Gamer Grip. Maybe Philadelphia forgot that.
Yeah, I'm just looking back over the score sheet here, and the way that Boston has had runs of 9 points. They've had a run of 5 points. It's just a scenario where Philadelphia saw that moment of hope at the end of the first quarter where they sort of manufactured 2 goals when they should have been going down in that first quarter. 5-4, they ended up 6-5 ahead. Since that point, this has been entirely Boston's game. Nothing Philadelphia has done has consistently worked. They've been able to come down with some discs in traffic, make a couple nice plays here and there, but there's no consistency.
Boston leads 25-13. We got 2:51 left to go. Philadelphia just got the last score. But I'm going to have to take a look at this one again and try and figure out what they can do differently in a couple of weeks. Right back here at Hormel Stadium. Boston's got to just hope they get this fan base again.
Yeah.
They did tonight.
Really nice support here the entire night. Not only are they here, but they're engaged. We're hearing some Whitecaps cheers going back and forth. We're hearing some folks yelling for their specific favorite players. Not too much heckling of the Philadelphia team. Perhaps they aren't trying to rub it in, but it's been a good experience here.
And we've even seen Boston's got some guys out there on the sideline who have not played at all tonight. I see Eric Wilburn is out there, has not made an appearance thus far. Of course, Sam Richardson is injured out on the sideline as well. John Hirschberger, one of the captains, is in here tonight. Mostly in the crowd, is obviously not played, has been done for the season.
Yep.
Mike Miller, we have not seen. He's kind of been a hybrid player-coach once again this season.
It's an interesting situation here where Boston's trying to check in to see exactly where the discs are on the back. It looks like they're asking a ref to place one near the uprights there off the field. And we'll get a chance to see if they'll be able to field this cleanly, if they'll have to chase it a little bit.
And we get a chance to see their O-line again, who's not played in quite some time. I figured that might be the night for Marquette. Jeff Graham is done for the night. He's got the wind pants back on. Yep. Philadelphia does a nice job, gets it out the back. So Marquette will start it off on the back line. It's Montgomery Butler. Miles to Little. Little finds Montgomery Butler again. And he airs it out, looking downfield for McNaughton. Esser is coming on strong, and McNaughton just leaps forward and makes the catch. Definitely saw some contact. He wants a call.
Yeah, it's just a little push there. Esser was trying to slow himself down and saw that McNaughton was directly in front of him. I'm sure he didn't mean to push him down like that, but you have to give him the 10 yards there because you can't put the receiver, now the thrower, on the ground.
Now McNaughton floats one up a little too much. A good bit defensively, but Little comes down with it, and then he immediately puts it in to Sidorsky. As Boston's O-line showing no signs of rust. And they tack on another one. They've got 26. And they've once again doubled Philadelphia's score as we take a look again.
And the focus here from Little, after this bid goes by him from Casey, to just calmly step and complete the next throw, just shrug off that flying human being that's going past him as if it were nothing. That's the composure that we like to see from our players.
Matt Little from Haverhill, Massachusetts. That's actually my neighborhood, right in the Merrimack Valley. That's where I'm from, up there. You have no idea
where is
I'm
that?
talking about. About a half hour north of Boston. He's got a nice story here for the Whitecaps this season. He tried out for the team the first 2 years, was cut, comes here in the third season, and he's been a major factor on their O-line all season long.
Yeah, I've had the chance to see him during all of those tryouts, and well, not all of the tryouts, but selectively here during each of those years. And the improvement in his game, he's earned the spot on this team. So it is good to see a story like that. Hard work pays off. You might just get what you want.
I learned that in Boston's weekly Whitecap column that they have. Here's Katzenbach, makes a catch, gets some contact from the young man Johnson. I think we're hoping to be joined by the conclusion of this game
certainly had a solid game on the whole.
Perhaps a future star here in the sport of ultimate.
Certainly on his way.
He will be, as I said, headed to UMass Amherst. I believe he will be playing with the club team Ironside the rest of this summer. And McDonald tips this one, but not enough. I looked for a greatest attempt from Sheridan, but I think he was already down on the ground even when he made the throw. I still love the effort.
Yeah, it was all he could do to attempt to put that back in with that. He didn't really have enough warning to get a really good jump, to be up in the air at all. And he did the best he could, but that was already a block. So he shouldn't even have had a chance to get that.
We approach the final minute here in the regular season. Tallow has it for Boston. It's almost like we look to run out the clock. Every time I feel like I've said that this season, there's a big huck right there, and the team just wants to score. Johnson has it on the far side. Katzenbach. You see the veteran and the newcomer matched up together right now. Tallow finds Stevens. Donald. 32 seconds left to go. Tallow has it again. Boston stuck on that far side.
Just a lot of patience here.
Turning it over.
Yeah, a little tight scenario there. Looks like we might have a couple players shaken up.
The last thing you want to see in a game like this. McDonald is one of them. I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing who the second one is. McDonald's the one that's up.
Like, yeah, any number of things. Yeah, that's just a mess. There's a lot of players going to the same spot from both teams.
I hate to see in the final 16 seconds.
Yes.
Trainers, it's Victor Liu.
Well, he's up. Could be a shoulder or something along those lines.
He is favoring his left arm, shoulder. He took some contact on the side. Trainer out there working with him. Trey Katzenbach, who's pediatrician, I believe.
Yep.
Out there as well.
Often has been called upon in other situations to help folks out playing this game. But we've got a full staff here to actually take care of them as well.
Josh Marquette, also an athletic trainer, out there, and will get carted off. And hopefully Victor Liu will be all right. I hate to see that as final 15 seconds tick away. Again, Boston's going to go on to win this one, and we'll not be back in action. I'll have a couple weeks off. One more turn here. Just why not?
He took his eyes off of that disc. Good choice here for the Whitecaps just to leave this sit. No reason to rub it in here with another goal. And we hear the ovation from the crowd here. Folks standing up, cheering on the Whitecaps' excellent performance here to win by 13 in a playoff preview.
So there's your final score, 26-13. We'll step away here again at Hormel Stadium and come back with some final thoughts.
You are just one of a kind, my dear. Such a good find, it's clear that you were made for me. We could be believably so carefree, for all the world to see that you were made for me.
Welcome back to Hormel Stadium. Again, the final score here as Boston blows out the Spinners 26-13. And we'll be hosting the Eastern Conference Finals on July 18th. Make sure you get your tickets for that one, as well as tune in here to MLU Live. But we do have Tanner Johnson downfield side. Congrats, Tanner, on a big win here tonight.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Dusty Rhodes here. Again, congratulations as well for earning your home field playoff game. What sort of helped you guys key those giant runs your defense went on?
Our giant runs were really created by the intensity that we had also on the field and also off the field. We kind of kept levels up at all times, and we made sure that on the field we heard everything that was from off the field that we couldn't see on the field.
So a lot of help from the sideline. That's good to hear. That's a good team strategy there. One of the things that Alex Simmons talked about before the game was that you were trying to pressure basically all of the throws and all of the steps that Philadelphia was taking on the field. Can you tell us a little bit about how you planned that out beforehand?
We kind of kept the marks really intense. We kept them close. We didn't want any inside throws that they really like. We've seen it before. And we made sure that our downfield defenders were sticking close to them and forcing them out so they didn't get their crafty unders.
Yeah, and it's been they've done a very good job working sort of those short passes, working that give and go over the course of the season. One of the things that we saw your ability was downfield. You did a very good job of cleaning up some plays for your offense, making some plays on defense as well. What sort of matchups should we look forward to seeing you in come playoff time?
I like the big matchups. I like the big guys on the other team. It's a lot of fun to run with them, and I love when the disc goes up just to kind of get my shot at it and play what I can.
You did more than just what you could. You played very well today. Congratulations on your win, and we'll see you guys in the playoffs back here.
Thank you very much. I can't wait.
So a big congratulations again to Tanner Johnson and the rest of the Boston Whitecaps. But they will see the Philadelphia Spinners again. That's July 18th. July 11th will be the Western Conference matchup. Make sure you tune into MLU Live to check that out. Head over to MLUchampionship.com and get your tickets for the championship game on August 8th. Dusty, do you have final thoughts on this one?
I got to tell you, it looked like Philadelphia was going to be up for the game early on, but the way that Boston's defense just took it directly to them was something impressive that we haven't seen from them against anyone other than New York this season. That bodes well for them going into this next game, and I'm just excited to see how it plays out if Philadelphia has more to get back into this game.
So it should be a fun one. That'll do it for us here at Hormel Stadium. We'll see you all in a couple weeks. Have a happy 4th of July to everyone out there. Thanks to our production crew tonight. On behalf of Dusty Rhodes, I'm Jeff Poster. Final score, 26-13, Whitecaps over the Spinners. And we'll see you in the playoffs.